This sitting is now resumed.
Order number 18, sir. In the name of the Honourable Leader of the House, to move that the House resolve itself into Standing Finance Committee to consider the grant of sums of money for the service of this island. Question?
Seconded.
No. Go get my put it. Huh? No, you go ahead. You beg that the House resolve it.
Honourable City Bridgetown.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that the House now go into Standing Finance Committee
To consider grant of sums of money for
to consider the grant of sums of money
for the service
for the services of this island. Thank you.
The question is that the House resolve itself in the Standing Finance Committee to consider the grant of sums of money for the service in the island. All those honourable members in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against, please say no. Me think the ayes have it.
This House is in committee. Standing Finance Committee.
In the name of the Honourable Minister in the Ministry of Finance, to move the passing of a resolution to grant the sum of $54,983,420 from the Consolidated Fund and to place it at the disposal of the government to supplement the estimates 2018 to 2019 as shown in the supplementary estimates number 11, 2018 to 2019 is formed the schedule to the resolution. Head 13, Prime Minister's Office, in the amount of $1,500,000. BDF.
Mr. Chair,
You will do the turtle.
the amounts under this head relates to the operations of the Barbados Defence Force and speaks to the provisions for the administration under this head. As you would appreciate, sir, we are coming to the end of the financial year, and the Defence Force obviously has to make sure that it maintains good order in the country, and therefore this is part of the resolution to be able to supply for that. So I beg to move that head 13 stand part.
The question is that head 13 stand part. All those honourable members in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it.
Head 28, Ministry of Home Affairs, in the amount of $2,300,000.
Mr. Deputy Chair, the amount of $1.3 million is required to supplement the resource of the police force. I believe that members of the chamber would know that the government has committed itself to making certain extraordinary resources available to the police force to aid us at this difficult time in wrestling the scourge of criminal activity to the ground. But of course, sir, that that is not just a question of providing manpower resources. We also have to make sure the police force is adequately, more than adequately equipped to be able to handle any issues that arise. I therefore beg to move that this head stand parked.
The question is that head 28 stand parked. All those honourable members in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it.
Head 30, Office of the Attorney General, in the amount of $183,420.
Mr. Deputy Chair, this modest sum
Chairman.
is required for the registry. You know, they say the best laid plans of mice and men Afghan and Lee. Mr. Deputy Chairman, the registry is engaged in the process of moving back from Manor Lodge to White Park Road. But with the best will in the world, there are always hiccups. And the registry has had to deal with a ransomware attack in the last few days that has threatened some of our data and so on, but it has also threatened some of our physical infrastructure. And therefore, we've had to move fairly speedily in order to acquire new software, new servers, and things of that sort, so as to be able to complete the move on time and to get our systems back up. I can tell members of the chamber that my promise of opening the court at White Park Road on the 1st of April will be met at least by the registry. The registry will be moved. They've started moving today back to White Park Road and will reopen by the 1st of April at that location. The Supreme Court will follow, the rest of the court will follow within a space of 7 days, so that by the 7th of April, sir, the court will be fully back to White Park Road. But I should indicate that there is expected to be no undue disturbance of either trials or any of the other processes during this time of relocation. I beg to move that this head stand parked.
Second. The question is that head 30 stand parked. All honourable members in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it.
Head 34, Ministry of Finance, Economic Affairs and Investment, in the amount of $44 million.
Chair, the provision under the Barbados Revenue Authority of $1 million relates to the retirement benefits for the institution. And, sorry, yes, to the retirement benefits of the staff of the Barbados Revenue Authority in the amount of $1 million under program 113. Go ahead, Mark.
Mr. Chair, this head also includes a rather significant amount as an allocation to the National Insurance Scheme, $25 million, and it is in keeping with what the Honourable Prime Minister, the member for St. Michael Northeast, and government has been speaking to over the past 8 to 10 months. And that has to do with the fact that Barbados, we intend, Mr. Chair, is to become a training campus, so that even as we go through this Barbados Economic Recovery and Transformation Program, which is supported by the IMF, we want at the same time to upskill, to retrain. We have fashioned the term RERE, which includes retraining and retooling. This $25 million, Mr. Chairman, is intended to facilitate the First Jobs initiative, because there are many of our young people in communities across Barbados who feel disconnected from workforce, who, whenever they seek to apply for a job, are told we want somebody with some kind of experience. And many of these young people, Mr. Chair, do not have the experience. It is the intention of government to create a first jobs program which will include initiatives such as apprenticeships, mentorships, a 12-month program which will see young people between the age of 16 and 25 placed in a position where they can work with existing businesses, where they can be attached to those we term to be masters of their craft, and where they can have a structured apprenticeship program, a structured program that allows them to be exposed to excellence in their chosen field and to be exposed to those who are masters of the craft in their chosen field. These funds also, I spoke to refer to the First Jobs program, but there's also the matter of the National Training Initiative, which is intended to take persons, not only young people, but persons generally, who, recognizing that the area of job expertise that they're in at the moment may not be one for the future, and they may want to retool, retrain, and reorient themselves to go down a different path as it relates either to employment or self-employment. And so government is embarking on a national training initiative. The Prime Minister would have spoken to this in relatively fulsome manner during a budget presentation, but I just want to indicate to this Honourable Chairman, this Standing Finance Committee, that these funds allocated under this head will go a long way to ensuring that our young people are provided with the skills, with the experience, and that workers generally can be retooled and retrained to take advantage of opportunities that will present themselves in the future.
I feel it is important to appreciate that, given the restructuring certainly of the Barbados economy since we've come to office, under this particular head, the total amount of 44 million that we've arrived at here, specifically as it relates to the training and the next sub-program which relates to capitalizing the Enterprise Growth Fund. We've come to this position because we've been able to impose fiscal discipline, and to the extent that we are now in a position, one, to help finance the National First Jobs Initiative, and then to the extent that the Prime Minister articulated earlier, in terms of making sure that we allocate specific monies in order to now get the economy growing. And so we have come here specifically under this head to make sure that these monies are allocated to be able to so do. Huh? Yes, so Program 121 under Economic and Social Planning includes the allocations for the Enterprise Growth Fund Limited.
Sir, just briefly, this amount of 18 million for the Enterprise Growth Fund Limited relates to 6 funds that are administered by the EGFL, and the need to be able to capitalize them in a variety of areas. So that the Small Hotels Investment Fund, for example, we are looking to capitalize with an amount of 5 million, the Innovation Fund, 2 million, the Energy Fund, 5 million, and the Agricultural Development Fund, 6 million. And if you will observe, sir, these all relate to sectors that have been prioritized for development. And just to give an example, with respect to energy, this adds to the IDB-supported Smart Energy program that will ensure that we are able to meet our target with respect to the development of renewable energy and having a carbon neutral economy by 2030. With respect, sir, to the Innovation Fund, we have been saying as a government that we need to be able to encourage ideas. And not just the encouragement of ideas, but to ensure that we are able to support those ideas to fruition, to demonstration, and to being able to scale up, to be able to create an income, not just for the person developing the idea and the business, but for those that they will employ so they can have knock-on effects in the economy. We as a government think, sir, that we cannot just pay lip service to this notion, but we have in EGFL an entity that is managing the availability of capital in a variety of areas. And through this allocation, sir, of 18 million, we believe that with respect to development of ideas and innovation, with respect to the tourism sector and the development of small hotel plants, as well, sir, as the Agricultural Development Fund, we have spoken very much in this chamber, and the Honourable Member for St. Philip South will appreciate this very much, that the agricultural sector is enjoying a rebirth, thanks in great part to the Honourable Member. And we believe that that needs to be supported by the necessary capitalization and to be able to put resources behind the new ideas and the new direction, and certainly the engagement of young people in this sector. And so this amount, sir, speaks to those efforts and to the capitalization of EGFL in these 4 areas.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, I beg to move that head 34 in the amount of $44 million stand part.
The question is that head 34 stand part. All honourable members in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it.
And community empowerment in the amount of $1,500,000.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair, the supplementary being asked for, the provision certainly is under the account code 315. It's a grant to a nonprofit organization, certainly in association with the Prince Trust. You would have heard the Prime Minister speak earlier about the fact that we need to train our young people, and this fund is supposed to help increase the numbers from 100 certainly to 1,000 young persons in terms of the at-risk young persons, in collaboration with the police force, obviously, to increase their training capacity and for a residential component to be increased as well. So, Mr. Speaker, we recognize that the at-risk youth is certainly a concern for us, and a youngster on the block certainly is not a persona non grata. We will welcome him, we will embrace him, and we will do every single thing in our part to ensure they have a tangible state. And so, with these few words, Mr. Speaker, I move that head 85 stand part.
Second?
Second away.
Second. The question is that head 85 stand part. All honourable members in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it.
Head 87, education, technological and vocational, in the amount of $5,500,000.
Mr. Chairman, these funds being requested under this head are to be allocated to the Barbados Vocational Training Board as well as the TVET Council. And I would just want to, I spoke earlier on an earlier head about the First Jobs Initiative and the National Training Initiative. And I would just want to maybe re-emphasize that these initiatives, even though there are new programs and new policy directions, will not displace or will not duplicate the efforts of organizations like the Barbados Vocational Training Board and the TVET Council. As a matter of fact, these funds are allocated here and the previous one we talked about with national insurance, to ensure that the existing agencies are placed on such a footing that they can be effectively part of the National Training Initiative. So I just want to assure the public, because when we stand here, I am always conscious that the public sometimes wonder if there's duplication, if organizations are treading over each other, especially when a new concept is brought to the table. I just want to reassure the public that there's not going to be duplication, but what we are in fact doing as the National Training Initiative is to build on what we already have, increase the capacity where necessary, and these institutions do a more structured kind of training. But when the Honourable Member for St. Michael Northeast, the Honourable Prime Minister, speaks to from car washers to coconut vendors, we recognize that the existing organizations cannot always adequately address the training needs of every functionary in a society. Be that as it may, the existing organizations need to be strengthened. They need, in some cases, additional resources. And the funds being allocated under this head are precisely for that reason. And so with those remarks, Mr. Chair, I beg to move that Head 87 stand parked.
The question is that Head 87 stand parked. All honourable members in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it.
Mr. Chair, I beg to move that you do now report to His Honour the Speaker the passing of one money resolution in Standing Finance Committee.
The question is that I do now report progress to His Honour the passing of one money resolution in the Standing Finance Committee. All honourable members in favour, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it.
Yeah, report.
The chairman of committee has reported the passing of one money resolution in the Standing Finance Committee.
I beg that this resolution be read a first time.
Question is that this resolution be read a first time. All those honourable members in favour, please say aye. Those against, please say no. Me think the ayes have it.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that this resolution be read a second time.
Question is that the aforementioned resolution be read a second time. All those honourable members in favour, please say aye. Those against, please say no. Me think the ayes have it.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that this resolution be now agreed to.
The question is that this resolution be now agreed to. All those honourable members in favour, please say aye. Those against, please say no. Me think the ayes have it. This resolution is now agreed to and passed.
Sir, in the name of the Honourable Minister in the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs and Investment, to move the passing of a resolution in accordance with Section 3 of the British American Insurance Company, Barbados Limited, Preservation of Investments Act 2016, Act 2016 number 5, to allow the government to issue to surgical promissory notes in the amount of 8.5 million on the terms and conditions set out in the schedule to facilitate the preservation of the 22 employees of British American Insurance Company, Barbados Limited.
You are a member for Christchurch East Central.
Mr. Speaker, I certainly want to indicate to this honourable chamber that the provisions under this resolution will bring a considerable amount of relief, sir, to those former employees of the British American Insurance Company in Barbados after about 10 years, sir, of being in limbo. And whilst, as you would appreciate, sir, a lot of things were done in the lead up to the last election, sir, very, very, very hastily. And for the most part, sir, this matter that is before the chamber this evening, this government believes, as we have been able to not just bring this part, certainly, of the sordid saga relating to the operations of CLECO in Barbados, and to the extent that the pension arrangements for those former employees, those 72 employees, sir, that these monies which are now going to be transferred to Sagicor would allow those employees, I believe, those former employees, a certain level of comfort, knowing that they have retired in peace, and that the sums of monies that are here will see them into their retirement. Now, sir, this is but one of the many, many, many situations that we've inherited as a government, and I want to suggest through you, sir, to the country that in the same way as over the next 6 months, we are going to bring the entire CLECO situation to a financial conclusion, that we do so, sir, cognizant of the fact that a lot of things did not go right with this situation. I am sure that the people of Barbados and those who will benefit, sir, from the relief that this government will be delivering to those thousands of Barbadians who, sir, certainly they would have suffered financially, emotionally, sir, certainly in the last 10 years, that this is part of the way that this government intends to bring relief to Barbadians. And as we embark, sir, on certainly the Barbados economic recovery and transformation, I certainly, sir, don't expect that all of these persons will go out and start spending money wildly, but certainly, sir, we know that putting monies back into this economy is the only way, sir, that we can start to boost confidence, certainly in terms of the consumer. But certainly, sir, I think this would allow, just on this resolution, sir, and the principle of it, that this would allow, I think, the people in general to appreciate that they can start to have some trust in the system. Now, sir, whilst this is indeed a private matter, the previous administration committed, sir, the taxpayers to this process. All we are seeking to do, sir, is to bring relief to Barbadians. And I believe, sir, that in the passing of this particular resolution, that those persons, as I said earlier, will be able to breathe a little easier. Their families will be able to breathe a little easier, sir. And I know, sir, that over the coming weeks and months, as we roll out, sir, the solution with respect to the resolution of CLECO, that this entire episode, if you like, sir, which certainly became a nightmare for thousands of Barbadians, that this Barbados Labour Party will put this to rest. And, sir, I want to also, within the context of this resolution, as you could appreciate, there are 6 notes to be issued, promissory notes to be issued of varying sizes, which are part of the terms and conditions in the schedule as laid out. But essentially, sir, this is, as I said, is to assist Sagicor with the preservation of the pension plans as it relates to those 72 employees of the former British American Insurance Company in Barbados. And with that, sir, the resolution is seeking the approval of Parliament to issue the said notes of varying maturities, and they range from between 5 to 30 years, not exceeding the aggregate sum of $8.5 million to Sagicor. And as I said earlier, this is to make sure that the pensions for the 72 employees, that those, the capital and within the pension plan can be preserved. And with those few words, sir, I wish I wish to move that this resolution be now passed.
Questions that the aforementioned resolution be passed. All those honourable members in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those against, please say no. Meeting the ayes have it. This resolution thereby is passed.
Mr. Speaker, that brings us to the end of government business for the day. I'd like to move that the House be adjourned until Tuesday, 2nd April 2019 at 10 a.m. in the forenoon.
Questions that this honourable chamber be adjourned until the 2nd day of April at 10 a.m. in the forenoon. All those honourable members in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those against, please say no. Meeting the ayes have it. This honourable chamber stands adjourned until 10 a.m. on the 2nd day of April 2019 at 10 a.m. in the forenoon.